Ever get that feeling where your brain is just running a dozen different apps at once?
Oh, absolutely.
You're pulled in a million directions, maybe wishing you had, I don't know, a secret button to just recalibrate.
Yeah, like a mental reset button.
Exactly. What if you could actually tap into a wellspring of calm, maybe some laser-like focus, and even deeper sleep starting, like, right now?
That feeling of mental clutter is incredibly common, isn't it?
Yeah,
And that desire for a reset, well, it's something many people share.
right.
And it's exciting because there is a very real and accessible way to find that sense of calm and clarity.
And that's what we're doing on this deep dive. We're plunging into the practices of mindfulness and meditation.
Yeah.
We've sifted through a whole load of information, from the fundamental principles right through to the latest brain science and practical tips for beginners.
Right.
Our goal, it's basically to hand you the essential knowledge you need to understand and maybe even begin your own journey with these, well, pretty powerful tools.
Yeah. And you might be hearing a lot about mindfulness and meditation already. Maybe even feeling a bit, I don't know, overwhelmed.
Or thinking it's just too complicated.
Exactly. Or that's not for me,
Yeah.
Our aim here is really to cut through that confusion
Yep.
and offer clear, actionable insights that resonate so you can grasp the core ideas quickly and effectively.
Okay, so let's get right to it then. Mindfulness and meditation, we hear these terms thrown around quite a bit, but what are we really talking about? What's the core distinction?
Well, think of mindfulness more as a quality you cultivate. It's a heightened awareness, really, of the present moment.
Okay.
It's about intentionally paying attention to what's happening right now, but, and this is key, without getting swept away by judgments or, endless analysis,
Just noticing.
just noticing.
Yeah.
Sabine Selassie put it beautifully. She said, mindfulness presents the opportunity for us to be more fully present for ourselves, our loved ones, and the earth. So that ability to simply notice what is without that immediate knee-jerk reaction, that's really the essence of mindfulness.
So that makes sense. It's like turning up the volume on the present moment, maybe?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So if mindfulness is this quality of being present, what exactly is meditation then?
So meditation is the practice we use to strengthen that quality of mindfulness.
Oh, okay.
It's the intentional act of setting aside time to sort of connect with your mind.
Right.
This often involves, finding a comfortable posture,
Got it.
focusing on your breath maybe, and gently guiding your attention back whenever it wanders off.
Okay.
And that point of focus, whether it's your breath or a sound, a sensation, we call that an anchor.
So, okay, if mindfulness is like being a good listener,
Mm-hmm.
meditation is maybe like actively practicing listening exercises. One builds the other.
Exactly. You got it.
Hmm.
Meditation is the workout for the mindfulness muscle.
Got it. Okay. Now, for someone who's thinking, all right, I'm willing to try this listening exercise, what are the absolute foundational things they need to know to get started with a meditation practice?
Well, there are a few key elements. First is finding a comfortable but also alert posture.
Comfortable but alert. Okay.
Yeah, you want to be relaxed enough that you can settle in, but also upright enough generally to remain present. That
Yeah.
could be sitting in a chair, feet on the floor,
More cross-legged?
or cross-legged on a cushion, yeah. Or even standing. Carol Bradley talks about mindful standing movements. You could even lie down if that works best for you.
Really? Lying down?
Yeah, though you just need to be a bit mindful of, well, not drifting off to sleep too easily.
Right. Comfortable but alert. That's a subtle but important distinction. Don't want to just nap. So what comes after finding the right position?
Next is choosing your focus, your anchor.
The anchor, right.
As we mentioned, the breath is super common. It's readily available, always there.
Yeah.
You just pay attention to the sensation of the air moving in and out. Simple as that.
But it doesn't have to be the breath.
No, not at all. You can focus on bodily sensations, maybe the feeling of your hands resting or sounds around you, or even a word or phrase, a mantra.
Okay, so you're settled, you have your anchor, and then inevitably your brain decides to, plan dinner, replay a conversation, worry about tomorrow. What then?
Yeah, and this is such a crucial point. Your mind will wander. That's absolutely guaranteed.
Okay, that's reassuring.
It is. It's not a failure of the practice.
Yeah.
It's actually part of the practice. The goal isn't to stop thinking that's impossible.
Right.
It's more about becoming aware when your mind has wandered off and then gently, kindly redirecting your attention back to your anchor without beating yourself up about it.
Ah, without judgment.
Exactly. Someone has this wonderful line, remembering that you're meditating is good. That means you're doing it right.
I like that.
That moment of noticing you've drifted and then choosing to return,
Yeah.
that is the core of the practice.
Okay, That's really helpful. It's not about achieving some perfect state of thoughtlessness. It's the gentle redirect. What else is fundamental for someone starting out?
Well, cultivating kindness and compassion towards yourself is pretty essential.
Towards yourself. How so?
When your mind wanders, which again it will,
Uh-huh.
meet that wandering with gentleness, not frustration. Think of it like training a puppy.
Mm.
You don't yell at it, you just gently guide it back.
Right.
And some meditation practices, like loving kindness meditation, specifically focus on cultivating those feelings of warmth and compassion for yourself and others.
Hmm.
And finally, consistency is really key.
Okay.
Even short, regular sessions, seriously, 5 to 10 minutes a day, that's been shown to make an enormous difference over time.
5 to 10 minutes. That feels much less daunting than I imagined.
Totally. Think of it like, consistently watering a plant.
Mm.
Small, regular efforts yield the best results rather than one big soak once a month.
Right. Okay. So we've got the how, basically. Comfortable position, focus, non-judgmental awareness, kindness, consistency. Now, let's talk about the why. What are the real tangible benefits that make this practice worthwhile? What's actually in it for you, the listener?
Oh, the benefits are really wide-ranging. They touch so many areas of our lives. One of the primary ones, probably the most talked about, is stress reduction.
Okay, less stress, always good.
Definitely. By regularly practicing, you essentially train your nervous system to be less reactive to stressors.
How does that work?
Well, it helps lower overall stress levels, cortisol levels maybe, and can really ease feelings of anxiety. It also significantly improves focus and attention.
Focus, okay. How?
Think of it like mental training.
Yeah.
You're literally building the muscles of attention and mindfulness.
Like weightlifting for the brain.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Making it easier to concentrate on tasks, stay present, not get pulled away so easily.
So it's not just about feeling calmer in the moment, it's about building resilience to stress and actually improving our ability to focus in the long run.
Precisely. And there's more. It can lead to enhanced emotional well-being,
Meaning?
fostering a greater sense of balance, maybe a more positive outlook. By observing your emotions without immediately reacting or judging them, you gain a better understanding.
So you can respond more skillfully.
Exactly. Rather than just being overwhelmed by them. Many people also report improved sleep quality.
Ah, better sleep. That's a big one. I know a lot of people, myself included, are always striving for that.
Absolutely. As the mind becomes more adept at settling down, sleep often improves.
Makes sense.
And it cultivates that self-compassion and kindness we talked about earlier, extending that gentleness inward.
Which probably helps with the stress, too.
For sure, it builds mental resilience, helping you navigate challenges, setbacks with maybe a bit more ease. And ultimately, it's about connecting more deeply with the present moment.
Being here, now.
Right. As Diana Winston puts it, learning to arrive more fully, right here and now. That simple act of being present can bring a richness and appreciation to everyday life that we often miss when our minds are constantly racing ahead or dwelling on the past.
Okay, so that's a really powerful set of reasons to explore this. Now, you've mentioned different ways to meditate, different anchors. Could you give us a glimpse into some of these different techniques, just so our listener can get a sense of the variety out there?
Yeah, definitely. There's quite a range. Breath awareness meditation, just focusing on the sensation of your breath, that's foundational. A great starting point.
You mentioned counting the breath.
Right. You could count inhales and exhales, maybe up to 10, and then start again. That can help keep the focus.
Okay, what else?
There's body scan meditation. This involves systematically bringing your attention to different parts of your body, head to toes or toes to head, just noticing any sensations, warmth, tingling, pressure without judgment.
Interesting.
Walking meditation is another wonderful option, especially if sitting still feels tricky. You focus on the physical sensations of walking your feet touching the ground, the movement of your legs, your body moving through space.
That sounds like a great way to integrate movement.
Yeah.
Very practical.
It really is. Then there's loving kindness meditation, which is quite different. Here, you intentionally cultivate feelings of warmth, kindness, and compassion,
How do you do that?
often using specific phrases directed first towards yourself, then loved ones, neutral people, difficult people, and eventually all beings.
Wow. Okay.
There's also sound meditation, just paying attention to the sounds around you,
Yeah.
near and far, without labeling or judging them, just letting them wash over you.
Like the sounds in this room right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or outside. Mindful movement incorporates gentle stretches or yoga, done with a real focus on the present sensations in your body,
Like mindful yoga.
pretty much. You can also just generally focus on other physical sensations as they arise. Or try something like mirror meditation, using your reflection.
Hmm.
Or engage in gratitude practices, intentionally reflecting on things you're thankful for.
Gratitude, yeah.
And our sources even highlight specific meditations aimed at things like deep relaxation or holding difficult emotions or exploring our interconnectedness with others, even turning awareness into action in the world.
So it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all approach. Lots of paths to explore.
Not at all. Plenty of options.
Okay. Now, for the listener who's feeling intrigued, maybe ready to take that first step, what are some really practical, concrete things they can do to actually begin their own meditation practice?
The biggest piece of advice is start incredibly small.
Like how small?
Seriously, 1 minute. Even just 1 minute of focused breathing is a powerful beginning. Don't try to be a hero and sit for 30 minutes on day
Okay,
one.
1 minute. I can do 1 minute.
Exactly. Then maybe gradually increase the duration as you feel comfortable. 2 minutes, 5 minutes. The key is consistency.
Be patient and persistent, you mean?
Absolutely. Remember that mind wandering is normal, totally expected. Consistency is much more important than perfection. And experiment. Try different techniques, breath, body scan, walking. See what resonates with you. There's no single right way.
Find what fits.
Find what fits.
Right.
And look for opportunities to weave little bits of mindfulness into your daily routine.
Like how?
A few mindful breaths before you jump into a meeting. Or maybe really paying attention to the taste and texture of your morning coffee or tea.
Simple moments.
Simple moments. Creating a dedicated, quiet space if possible, and maybe a consistent time for your practice, can also be really helpful for building the habit.
Routine helps.
It does. And don't hesitate to use guided meditations. There are tons available on apps, websites.
Like the ones you mentioned, Calm or Headspace.
Exactly. Those are great resources, especially when you're starting out. They walk you through it.
Takes the guesswork out.
It really does.
Yeah.
And above all, just be gentle and kind to yourself throughout the whole process. It's a practice, not a performance.
Start small, be patient, experiment, integrate, be gentle. That feels like a very approachable way to begin.
Okay. Now, we all know starting something new isn't always, smooth sailing. What are some of the common bumps in the road, the hurdles that beginners might encounter with meditation?
Oh yeah, there are definitely common challenges. Mind wandering, as we've said, is almost universal.
And it can feel discouraging.
Totally. If you think the goal is not to wander, then you feel like you're failing constantly. Impatience can definitely arise. You might not feel instantly calm or different.
And then you get frustrated.
Exactly. Or you start wondering, am I even doing this right?
Mm.
That uncertainty is common. Finding the time in a busy schedule is obviously a huge practical challenge for many people.
Life gets in the way.
It does. Distractions, two noises outside, an itch, random thoughts, they're inevitable, both internal and external.
Yeah.
Beginners might also have unrealistic expectations, like thinking that they should achieve a completely blank mind, which isn't the goal.
Right, we covered that. Physical discomfort from sitting still, maybe your back aches or your leg falls asleep, that can be a real hurdle.
Definitely.
And self-judgment, self-criticism. When the mind wanders, being hard on yourself, that's super common.
The opposite of the kindness you mentioned.
Precisely. And sometimes people simply feel doubt creeping in, is this really working? And feel like giving up.
Those all sound very real, very relatable challenges. So, based on everything we've discussed, what are some ways to navigate these common hurdles? How do you get past them?
Well, for mind wandering, the key insight, again, is just recognizing it as part of the practice. It's not a bug, it's a feature.
Okay.
Gently return your focus each time you notice. That is the practice. For impatience, really remind yourself it's a process, a gradual unfolding. Even short sessions have value. Celebrate the small wins.
Like just showing up to practice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When time is a barrier, explore those micro hits of mindfulness throughout your day. Those 1-minute breath breaks count. Acknowledge distractions when they happen. Thinking or sound. And then gently redirect your attention without getting frustrated or pulled into the distraction.
Don't fight them.
Don't fight them. And reframe your expectations. The goal isn't a blank mind, it's present moment awareness with whatever is arising.
Got it.
If physical discomfort is an issue, definitely experiment. Try different cushions, chairs, postures. Maybe try walking meditation instead of sitting. Don't suffer through unnecessary pain.
Good point.
And crucially, meet that self-judgment with active self-compassion. Treat yourself like you would treat a friend learning something new.
Be kind.
Be kind. And when doubt creeps in, maybe reconnect with your initial intention. Why did you want to try this in the first place? Remember the potential benefits, Persistence, even when it feels difficult, is what ultimately cultivates the practice and its rewards.
So it really comes back to reframing expectations, meeting ourselves with kindness, and just keeping at it gently.
That sums it up pretty well.
Okay. Now, we've spent a lot of time talking about formal meditation, setting aside specific time to sit on a cushion or walk mindfully. But our sources also really emphasize the power of bringing mindfulness into our everyday moments. How do we actually do that? How does it work off the cushion?
Yeah, that's hugely important. Everyday mindfulness is basically about intentionally bringing that same quality of non-judgmental awareness to the present moment in whatever you're doing.
So shifting out of autopilot.
Exactly. It's about being more fully engaged in your life as it unfolds, moment by moment, instead of being lost in thought all the time.
Can you give us some really practical examples? How can we weave this into, say, a typical busy day?
Oh, absolutely. Mindful eating is a wonderful place to start.
How so?
Instead of rushing through lunch while scrolling on your phone, maybe take the first few bites really paying attention. Notice the colors, the smells, the textures, the tastes. Savor it.
Okay, mindful eating. What else?
Mindful movement can be as simple as noticing the sensations in your body as you walk from your car to the office, or even just walking from one room to another at home. Feel your feet on the floor.
Just noticing.
Just noticing. Take a few conscious breaths periodically throughout the day, maybe when you stop at a red light or before you open your email. Just notice the rise and fall of your chest or abdomen.
Little pauses.
Tiny pauses. Even routine tasks, like washing dishes or brushing your teeth, can become opportunities for mindfulness. Focus on the physical sensations, the warm water, the soap, the brush against your teeth.
Turning chores into practice.
Sort of, yeah. Practice mindful listening when someone is speaking to you. Try to give them your full attention without planning your response while they're still talking.
That's a hard one.
It is. But powerful. Engage all your senses throughout the day. What do you see right now? What do you hear? Smell? Feel?
Bringing yourself back to the present through the senses.
Exactly. Try bringing awareness to the transitions between activities. Instead of rushing from one thing to the next, take a brief pause, take a breath before you move on.
Like between meetings.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Even activities like spending time in nature, listening to music, or engaging in creative pursuits can be done more mindfully, really enhancing your appreciation and enjoyment. It's about the quality of attention you bring.
So it's really about intentionally slowing down just a bit and truly noticing the small details of our lives, these moments we often just rush through without a second thought.
Precisely.
It sounds like a way to add, I don't know, depth and richness to the ordinary.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It absolutely can. Now, shall we maybe dig into something truly fascinating?
Ooh, intriguing. What is it?
What actually happens in our brains when we engage in consistent mindfulness practice? This is where the science gets really cool and illuminates the power of this seemingly simple practice.
Oh, I'm definitely eager to hear about this. What does the science tell us? What's the impact of meditation on our actual brains?
Well, the research is showing that consistent meditation can lead to actual structural changes in the brain. It's quite remarkable.
Structural changes, like the physical brain changes.
Exactly. Studies suggest, for instance, an increase in gray matter density in areas associated with things like emotional processing, learning, and memory.
Wow. More gray matter.
Potentially, yes. And a 2019 study even indicated a link between changes in gray matter volume and cortical thickness, that's the outer layer of the brain, with lower levels of depression in people who were new to meditation.
That's incredible.
Furthermore, some research suggests that long-term meditators might experience a slowing of the usual age-related thinning or loss of brain tissue in regions crucial for things like mood regulation and emotional processing.
So it might actually help keep our brains healthier as we age.
The evidence is pointing that direction, yes. It's pretty compelling.
Okay, so that's structure. What about how our brains function? Does it change how things work day to day?
Yes. Functionally, there are significant findings too. Meditation has been shown to alter how our brains process stress.
How?
It seems to dampen the reactivity of the amygdala, the brain's sort of alarm center, potentially leading to reduced anxiety and depression and an improved overall quality of life. This was seen even after just 8 weeks in some studies.
5 weeks? That's not long.
No, it's quite encouraging. And focused attention meditation, like focusing on the breath, can genuinely enhance our attention span. It's like that weightlifting analogy, again, strengthening our ability to concentrate and resist distractions, countering that tendency to just tune things out.
So it helps fight distraction.
It does. It's also been linked to a reduction in mind wandering the bilm. The default mode network seems less active and improvements in problem-solving skills.
Interesting.
Meditation seems to activate areas of the brain associated with intentional control, executive function, willpower. This promotes neuroplasticity, the brain's amazing ability to reorganize itself and form new connections.
So we can actually rewire our brains.
In a sense, yes. Practice reinforces certain pathways, and that relaxation response we often feel during meditation, that's associated with an increase in calming alpha brainwaves.
The chill out waves.
You could call them that. Some studies even point specifically to enhanced neural connections, better communication between different brain regions in those who meditate regularly.
So it really is like a workout for our brains, strengthening areas that help us manage stress, focus better, regulate our emotions, maybe even think more clearly.
That's a great summary of what the science is suggesting. These neurological changes are thought to be the underlying mechanisms for many of the reported mental and emotional benefits.
That's incredibly motivating, actually, knowing there's real science behind it.
Mhm.
Okay, so beyond the techniques and the science, you mentioned attitudes earlier. What are some of those key attitudes that can really support and maybe deepen a mindfulness practice?
Right. Cultivating certain attitudes can make a huge difference in your experience. Non-judgment is foundational.
We talked about that with thoughts.
Exactly. Observing your thoughts, feelings, sensations without immediately labeling them as good or bad, right or wrong. Just letting them be.
Okay.
Acceptance is another big one, which doesn't mean liking everything, but rather a willingness to be with what is happening in the present moment, even if it's difficult or uncomfortable.
Not fighting reality.
Pretty much. Patience is crucial. Understanding that progress, whatever that means to you, is often gradual, non-linear. Some days feel easier than others.
Let go of expectations.
Definitely related to letting go of clinging to pleasant experiences, letting go of resisting unpleasant ones, letting go of thoughts and emotions as they pass through.
Okay.
Gratitude can really enhance the practice, appreciating the present moment, appreciating the ability to practice. Not striving is important too, focusing on the process of practicing itself, rather than trying too hard to achieve some special state.
Just doing it.
Just doing it. Approaching each moment, each practice session, with the beginner's mind full of curiosity and openness as if for the first time.
Like a child exploring.
It's exactly. Kindness and self-compassion, we've touched on this, but it's worth repeating, especially when the mind wanders or you feel frustrated.
Be nice to yourself.
Be nice to yourself. Gentleness in how you redirect your attention. Trusting in your own capacity for awareness, trusting the process.
Trusting yourself.
Yeah. And even qualities like generosity towards yourself, openness to whatever arises, discernment, noticing without necessarily acting, finding enjoyment in the practice, a sense of effortlessness, even playfulness can all enrich the journey. Warm-hearted curiosity sums up a lot of it.
That's a really beautiful collection of ways to approach this. It makes it sound less like a rigid discipline and more like cultivating a different, maybe kinder relationship with ourselves and our experiences.
That's a great way to think about it.
Okay, so to kind of bring it all together now for someone listening, what are some really effective strategies for making meditation not just something you try, but something that becomes a consistent, lasting habit in your life? How do you make it stick?
Right. Building the habit. Again, start small and be patient. We can't emphasize that enough. Even 1 minute counts.
Don't bite off more than you can chew initially.
Exactly. Choose a consistent time each day that generally works for you. Morning, evening, lunch break, whatever. Consistency helps build momentum.
Like setting an appointment.
You could. Or try linking it to an existing daily routine. This is called habit stacking. For example, meditate for 5 minutes right after you brush your teeth or before your first cup of coffee.
So if this, then that.
Exactly. Set clear intentions for your practice. Remind yourself why you want to cultivate this habit. What are you hoping to gain?
Keep your motivation in mind.
Right. Use reminders if you need them, a visual cue like placing a cushion somewhere visible or a notification on your phone.
Practical tips.
And be kind and non-judgmental if you miss a day or even a week. It happens. Just gently return to your practice the next day without guilt.
Don't let one missed day derail everything.
Absolutely not. Remember that even short, consistent sessions are generally seen as more beneficial than infrequent, longer ones. Consistency is the secret sauce.
Got it.
Definitely utilize guided meditations, especially early on. They provide structure and support. Apps, online resources, they're everywhere.
Takes the pressure off.
It does.
Yes.
If possible, Create a dedicated, pleasant space for your practice, even if it's just a specific chair.
Makes it feel special.
Kind of signals to your brain, okay, it's meditation time. Consider making it part of your morning routine. It can set a really calm and centered tone for the rest of the day
Start the day right.
and consciously integrate those moments of mindfulness into your daily activities like we discussed. That reinforces the whole practice.
Off the cushion practice.
Right. Regularly reflect on the benefits you are noticing, however small. That positive reinforcement helps keep you motivated.
Acknowledge the progress.
Yes. Schedule your meditation sessions if that helps. Treat it like any other important appointment. Don't get discouraged by setbacks. They're a normal part of building any new habit. View them as learning opportunities.
Okay.
And most importantly, perhaps, keep experimenting. Find what truly resonates best with you and your lifestyle. It's a personal journey.
So it really sounds like it's about weaving it into the fabric of our lives with intention, consistency, and, yeah, a whole lot of self-compassion.
That's a perfect summary. Intention, consistency, and self-compassion.
Okay, wonderful. As we gently bring this deep dive to a close now, what are the absolute key insights, the main takeaways you hope our listener walks away with today?
I think the core understanding is that mindfulness and meditation are not some mystical, unattainable things. They are accessible, practical, and really powerful practices.
Accessible and powerful.
Yeah. They offer truly profound potential benefits for our mental and emotional well-being, our ability to focus, our relationships, even as we saw, the health of our brains.
Right.
And it's a journey. It's about the process, not perfection. It begins with small steps and unfolds with consistent, gentle effort over time.
And for someone listening right now, maybe feeling that spark of curiosity, perhaps a little inspired, what's one simple, concrete action they could take, like right after listening?
Okay, one simple action. Take just 5 minutes. Seriously, set a timer for 5 minutes right now. Close your eyes if that's comfortable, and simply focus on your breath.
Just 5 minutes of breathing.
Just 5 minutes. Notice the sensation of the inhale, the sensation of the exhale. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back. That's it. Or maybe download one of those apps we mentioned like Calm or Headspace.
Yeah.
Many have free introductory sessions. Try a short guided meditation. Let someone else lead you through it the first time.
Takes the pressure off figuring it out alone.
Exactly. Or even simpler, as you prepare your next meal or pour your next drink, just engage all your senses for a minute. Really see it, smell it, feel it, maybe taste it with full awareness. Just one mindful minute.
Simple ways to start. I like it. And finally, maybe a thought for our listener to carry with them today, something to mull over.
Okay, how about this? Consider how intentionally bringing just a little bit more presence, a little more awareness to just one aspect of your day. Maybe your commute, maybe a conversation with someone, maybe a simple task like brushing your teeth. How could that subtly shift your experience? What might you discover? What might you notice that you've perhaps been missing when you truly arrive in the moment, even just for a little while?
That's a lovely question to ponder.
We really encourage you to continue exploring this rich landscape of mindfulness and meditation, and more importantly, to discover the unique and personal benefits it can bring to your own life.